Hi guys, and welcome back to another video Game with the Powers. I'm Jake, and in today's video we are starting our journey, our community campaign, let me say, into Primal The Awakening. I'm super excited to be diving into Primal with all of you guys and seeing your feedback in the direction that you want the campaign to go. If you have not been following our channel or you are brand new to our channel, we are running a community campaign here via Primal The Awakening, where you guys are going to be voting on the direction of our campaign. That is right. As we get to every chapter, there's going to be 12 total chapters. In Primal The Awakening, we are going to have the option to pick quests, craft gear, and things like that. So when it comes to those certain points in the campaign, I will be posting polls and I will let all of you decide the direction we want the campaign to go. I'm super excited about this. I hope you guys are excited about this because you can dive into Primal The Awakening with me to really see if Primal is the game for you. Now, two things before we actually dive into the campaign here. Number one, I want to give a spoiler alert here. There are going to be a lot of spoilers about Primal The Awakening since we are diving fully into the campaign. I'll be reading all the campaign scenarios, all the chapters. We're going to be taking a look at all the forges, all the weapons and things like that. So if you do not want this game to be spoiled, if you do not want the campaign scenarios to be spoiled, then what I highly recommend is you guys check out my Hunters versus Carja playthrough, a one-shot scenario. I'll link that somewhere up here. Check that out. That'll give you a good idea of how to play Primal The Awakening. Second thing, I am bringing you guys some Primal content today, but I'm also a little disappointed I'm not able to bring you guys a full playthrough of this prologue. I just found out yesterday actually, that I'm going to have to travel out of town for my work, so I'll be gone Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So this video you're watching today, I am actually out of town right now, and so I did not have the opportunity to get a full playthrough of this prologue in, so I'm bringing you a good portion of the prologue. All right, not quite sure how far I'm going to get into it yet, but we're going to do a part one of the prologue. We're going to finish up part two of the prologue next week. I hope you guys still like this content, you still dive into it, and be looking out for next Friday. We're going to drop that second video of us hopefully taking out this boss that we are going to fight. But that is pretty much everything I got to say, guys. Let's go ahead and jump right into some Primal. I'm going to go ahead and read from this scenario book here. We'll put it up on the board for all you. Put it up on the board. You know, you guys, you know you're a teacher when you say you're going to put it up on the board. I'm going to put it up on the screen here for you guys to follow along with me while we read this, and then we'll jump down to the table and get us all ready to go. All right, taking a look at the prologue scenario. It says, as you are walking toward the heart of the ancient crimson forest, warm, damp air rises from the ground. From afar, the scarlet foliage on the trees looks as if hundreds of little flames have been lit to heat the forest like candles whose fiery tongues are no longer flickering but frozen in time. Silently, you push through the vegetation that meanders around the massive trunks of dark wood. You are a newly formed squad, handpicked by the commander especially for this occasion, or in our case, you are handpicked by the Gaming with Powers community. Darian has been silent and brooding throughout the journey. You see him staring distrustfully at the forest with a look as hard as the blade he carries over his shoulders. In the vanguard, Myra precedes the rest of the squad, striding gracefully and seemingly at ease, even in that unknown forest, as if nothing could escape her keen senses. Thoreg and Legionar, a little further behind, are bringing up the rear of the squad. The former, in his shiny armor, has measured confident strides. He has the experience and composure of a leader. The latter walks in line with the rest of the group, his towering shield hooked over his shoulder. He has the look of someone willing to bear any weight for the sake of the squad and his companions. We also are joined by Kara and Hellerin, who are in the back there, you know, and I'm ad-libbing this a little bit. They are in the back, just bringing up the rear of the party, not really sure what's going on, as they are new hunters to Thyrea. When you reach a crossroads in the undergrowth, you stop to consult the map. The missing seekers were exploring the valleys west of Woltiar. It is not the first time you have had to make your way through hostile territory like this. For as long as you have known the region, nature on Thyrea has always been indomitable and ferocious. Monstrous creatures lay claim to their territories, and ever since the people of Alberia first landed on the island, they have lived in acknowledgement of this natural hierarchy and taken refuge behind the walls of their fortified city. Only seeker and hunter squads like you can travel beyond the borders of Alberia in search of resources and answers to the island's secrets. You are now close to the point marked by the commander, while the path under your feet seems to be trying its best to disappear among the tree roots and thorny red bushes along the trail. Suddenly, the unexpected happens. A deep roar in the distance breaks the silence of the march. All around you, cries and calls from animals and beasts ring out from all parts of the forest. As soon as you can, you find a gap in the tree canopy. Myra, ahead of you all, stands transfixed as she stares at the sky. Pinnacles of ash rise from Voltaire's caldera, forming a black cloud that expands across the sky. After having lain dormant for centuries, the great volcano of Thyrea has awakened. The earth shakes violently. "There's no time to fear," that is what the commander would always say during training. You run frantically like predators, mowing down roots and jumping over shrubs that hinder your passage. You find a small clearing from where you can observe the grim, terrifying spectacle. This event will change everything. You are sure of it, but you still cannot even begin to imagine just how much. You notice Legionar pointing his finger to the sky, squinting his eyes in an effort to see in the distance. From the curtain of ash, the silhouette of a creature with outstretched wings that has never been seen before emerges. Like a fiery lava bomb hurled from the mountain, a large blood-red dragon can be seen flying at great speed over the expanse of scarlet foliage under which you have taken shelter. Its roar echoes through the valleys of Woltier as if trying to unleash the wrath of the forest. Just when you have got your hopes up that it has not caught the scent of you, the creature veers towards the clearing and swoops down on top of you. You leap out of the way, evading its impact just in time. You roll on the ground to the sharp sound of metal clunking as the dry grass of the clearing gets caught on your armor. You look up and the huge dragon is towering over you, angrily sniffing the air. You try to think quickly, scanning the nearby bushes, and frantically form a line to face it. Its hot veins pulsate and glow all along its muscular body. The fury of the volcano itself appears before you when the monster's huge jaws open violently to make way for the flash of flames ready to engulf you. But you, hunters, have no time for fear. All right, guys, we in the prologue will be facing this dangerous beast right here, okay? So we are down here at the table where we have everything set up for our playthrough of Primal, right? We are taking on the Varaxin here. We can imagine he just comes swooping down over here onto the board itself, flying in there. And you guys might have just noticed something different. I am trying a new camera setup here. For those that have been following the channel for a long time, you might have noticed we added in a side camera for some of our playthroughs, unboxings, and things like that. So I wanted to try a new setup. So today's video is going to be a trial run also of this new camera setup, where from the top view, we are just going to have the hunter boards and all their equipment and cards. We will have the Varaxin, the monster board with all of his behavior cards. And then over here on the side camera, guys, we are going to have the monster board, all right? I hope you guys do enjoy this new camera angle. Also, on that side board over there, I will be playing the cards in my sequence so you can really see the cards that are being played. I'll show you my hand over there. So pretty much I'll be taking all of my turns on the side camera so you can see all of the cards better in the sequences, and then I'll be coming over here to this top down to activate things like that. But if you do, guys, enjoy this new camera setup, please drop it down in the comments below. If you are not a fan of this camera setup, drop that down in below as well. I want to have a setup that everybody is happy with, or majority of the community is happy with. Obviously, we might not be able to please everybody, but want to have a setup where all of you are going to feel a lot more engaged into the actual game. But we are ready to go. So before we dive in, let's kind of get a look at our board state here, talk about a couple things, and then we'll dive in. So let's start with our hunters, right? We have Hellerin, the heavy gun character. So all of my characters, all your characters in the prologue scenario are going to be starting with a base helm and a base armor, along with a base potion. So let me go ahead and grab these very quickly, and let's take a look at these over here on this side camera. So this base helm here, nothing special. It's just going to provide you 4 health. All right, we have this base armor right here that's going to provide you with 5 health. And then, of course, we have this Alamore potion here that you will choose a player in your sector to heal 2. If the current attrition level, the top card of that attrition deck is 1 or lower, that player will heal 4 instead. Okay, so both characters will be starting out with a base helm, a base armor, and a base potion there. Just dropping that potion right there. Okay, let's take a look at Hellerin's actual character. So she is going to start off with the gunbow here, okay? So everybody's going to start. This is the basic weapon, which is a level 1. This is going to be dealing 3 base damage and has an ability that says Ignite, deal 1 damage. So anytime I am doing an attack and I spend a bullet, I think I have the ability to spend a bullet. Let me double check here. When a card ability begins with this keyword, it means it is triggered when you spend bullets, okay? So anytime I spend a bullet during my attack, I will deal 1 extra damage for that. Over here on the side, this is the breakdown of the cards. So I have 6 red, 6 blue, 6 yellow, and 6 green. The different weapons you'll notice around as we get through the campaign, these numbers are going to change, all right? So that is the heavy gun. Or that is the gunbow and the heavy gun. Now let's take a look at the mastery card here. So the mastery card, it says when you reload, you will place a counter on this card. When 2 counters get on this card, we will be focused. So I don't want to spoil that just yet. All right, and that brings me into my final thing with Hellerin. Actually, she has a new mechanic with bullets. So you'll see a bullet track right here. She's going to start off with 3 bullets, and she has a bunch of cards in her deck that will allow her to spend bullets to do damage and then also reload these bullets. So if you remember, anytime I spend bullets, I deal an extra damage. Whenever I reload, we're putting a counter on that mastery. But this bullet track is a new mechanic here for Hellerin, the heavy gun. Okay, let's take a look at Kara, the dual blade here. We've already gone over the base helm, base armor, and Alamore potion. So we are just going to look straight into her dual blades here. So these are going to have a base damage of 2, and it says when you trigger Battle Dance, you will deal 1 damage. I will get to Battle Dance in a sec. But next, let's take a look at her mastery card. So when you overrun the monster, you will place a counter on this card. 2 counters, this becomes focus. So she has another thing called overrun, which basically there's cards in her deck that you will play, and when she overruns a monster, she just basically runs through that monster onto the other side. So in this example, if she was in this front sector and she had an overrun card, she would end up in the back sector. Sometimes these overrun cards can be used as a movement during the movement phase. So she can just move straight to the back, okay? But that is the overrun mechanic. That's something new that gets added in. And then the new system or new mechanic with the Carl the Dual Blade character is you'll see down here in the bottom right hand corner, she'll have some attack cards with numbers. So for every attack card she puts consecutively in her sequence, this is called Battle Dance, right? Every 2, 4, and 6 consecutive attack cards in a row, she will do extra damage. So in a scenario here, let's say she had 4 attack cards in a row. She would deal 3 damage for having 2, 5 damage for having 4, so 8 total damage. This will stack. And then because she triggered Battle Dance, she will deal 1 extra damage with her dual blade. So that would be 9 bonus damage for having 4 consecutive attack cards in a row. So that is the dual blade character in a nutshell. I'm trying to get as many consecutive attack cards in a row as possible to really stack up my damage. Now let's head over here to the Varaxin, okay? Let's take a look at this first initial stance card. From the Varaxin here. So the Varaxin is going to have a toughness of 2 per player. So 4 damage is going to need to go on here to deal 1 wound to the Varaxin. When it is at 7 health, it will go into stance 2. Right now, the 2 available sectors to attack this Varaxin is the front and the rear. And this is going to, the Varaxin is dealing 1 damage in this stance, okay? Taking a look at the first peril card here, we have Fire Breathing, okay? Fire Breathing from the Varaxin. It says at the end of the round, if the aggro player is threatened, place a fire terrain in the front sector, okay? That is our permanent card. And then last but not least, we have our objective card. So this is going to be hit the tail, right? If you are in the rear sector and I play back-to-back or consecutive attack cards, I will place a counter on this card. When there are 2 counters per player on this card, the Varaxin will suffer 2 wounds, and then I will remove this card from the game. Okay, we already have some of his behavior cards out, so this is at the end of the round. That behavior card is going to trigger when a blue card is played in somebody's sequence. That will trigger when a red card that will be played in somebody's sequence that will trigger, and of course he starts with 10 health. Okay, the last thing we got here is the combat board, guys. So we have the big bad Varaxin right here in the middle staring us down. We got Hellerin, we have Kara right here. In this sector, we have some Jungle Brush, all right? So if a character were to move in there, I can discard a defensive card, or a dodge card, I believe, to hide in the brush, all right? And basically skip my turn and go to somebody else, and then it would come back to me. Okay, over here in this rear sector, we have that plant back there. You might be able to see it. I believe that starts with a B. I'm not 100% sure, but I do know when a player starts their turn in that sector, they will heal damage equal to their weapon level. So all our weapon levels are 1 right now, so he would heal 1 damage in that sector. Taking a look at this right sector right here, we have this plant called a Sirene, I believe is what it's called. When a player is in this sector and they play an attack card, they are going to deal extra damage equal to their weapon level. So in this scenario, it's going to be 1. And then of course up there you can see the track. We have the round track for 10 rounds. We have 10 rounds to beat the Varaxin. That should be everything that is on the table, guys, over there on that combat board that we are going to need, or that is all the information that you guys need in order to feel locked in here and set up and ready to play. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So we, of course, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle the dual blade characters deck because she is the aggro player and she is the first player for this scenario. We're going to give her both. I think I misplaced the first player token actually somewhere, but she will be the first player. Of course, what we would do in a round structure, we are going to start with the consume phase. So anybody that has a consume card would be allowed to do that now, which is these potions. Or if the monster had a consume effect, we would activate that. I don't want to need to spend any potions, right? I got full health. Monster has none, so we're going straight to the next phase, which is our monster upkeep phase. Okay, normally in the monster upkeep phase, you would do a behavior refresh, which discard the lowest card. If there are 2 cards that are tied, you would discard both, all right? However, this is the first round. We are not going to refresh any behavior cards. And then the second step in the monster upkeep is the monster is going to gain 1 struggle per player, okay? This struggle here is used to mark something called, I believe it's unleash, okay? So if the monster ever gains tokens equal to 3 per player, he is going to unleash, which is he's going to get rid of all of his struggle tokens except for 1, and he's going to deal damage to the players equal to his damage ability or his damage level, which right now it says 1, okay? Again, if he ever gets 3 per per player, so it's going to be 6 in this scenario. I will discard him all the way down to 1, and we are going to take 1 damage for this stance. I believe as we get in the other stances, he will be doing more damage, so I got to be really careful. I can't talk right now. For that. Okay, so that is that monster upkeep phase. Now we are going to the player turns. Okay, so let's go over to this side camera. We're gonna take a look at this board. We're gonna take a look at my hand and see what I have here. Okay, so starting out, all right, I have a half moon. Deal damage to your deal your weapon damage and draw 1. Okay, I have a air blade. I can chain this, remove 1 struggle. Okay, we have a scythe. I can chain that with a blue, remove 1 struggle. We have a crescent strike, increase your sequence limit by 1 this turn, and cut through. You may immediately overrun the monster if you do draw 1. Okay, so I am going to, I maybe need to move. That's my hand. Okay, I got a really good attacking hand, so I might want to think about playing a lot of this stuff. But I have to decide if I want to move. So at the end of the round, if the aggro player is threatened, I will place a fire terrain in the front sector. I don't think I'm going to move here. I need to do some damage to this guy. I can get to that back sector, start working on that hit the tail objective. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So the dual blade character is choosing not to move. If she does not move, she must take a threatened token. So we're going to go ahead and place a threatened token right there on her board. And now we will go and take the turn. Okay, so she has a bunch of cards that say chain on them. And so basically what chain is a card with this keyword can be played without paying its cost if you play it after a certain color. Okay, so if I play this card after a blue, for example, I would be able to play this for free. If I play this after a red, I would be able to play it for free. So what I'm thinking here is we should do cut through first, get to the back of the monster. That will help me get a focus. So let's do that. So I'm going to play cut through first, okay? So let's go ahead and slide that into my sequence. I need to pay 1 stamina cost right there for that, okay? So I will do half moon. That can generate 1 stamina for me. So I will discard that and play cut through. All right. First, what we're going to do is do the symbol up top here. So this is a blue. So what that does is remove 1 struggle from the monster. So I'm just going to take this 1 struggle over here. You guys can see that and remove that to the side. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and do the card's effect. So I may immediately overrun the monster. So the dual blade character is going in the back there. She's hiding back there. And if I do, I can draw 1 card, which I will draw 1 card. And we have offensive attitude. When another player plays a red in their sequence, you may discard this card from your hand to search your deck for a red and add it to your hand, then reshuffle your deck, okay? That was my draw card. That was overrunning the monster. Because I overrun the monster, I get to place a token. I get to place a counter on that card, okay? Now, I did play a blue. We'll go back to this camera right here. I did play a blue, so this is going to activate this behavior. So let's take a look at this behavior card. We have Wrath of the Dragon, okay? The Varaxin turns to the active player. Then I will place a fire terrain in the front sector. We do have a struggle token, okay? So this is a boost card. It says the active player suffers damage unless they have a green in their sequence. So I do not have a green in my sequence, so I'm going to take 1 damage. And he's going to turn to me and place a fire terrain in the front sector. That is very unfortunate, okay? So he's going to turn over here to the straight and face the dual blade character. We are going to grab some fire terrain, okay? So we got some fire terrain. We're going to put this out over there so you guys can see it. When fire terrain comes out, if it ever comes out in a sector that has brush, it will burn that sector. It doesn't burn any plants. But what's going to happen is it's going to give burning to my character. So Kara the Dual Blade is going to be hit with burning. Okay, what that is going to do is once I deck out, I will take weapon damage equal to my weapon level. However, if I am burned and I were to get burned again, I will discard top 5 cards from my deck. Okay, then that is the end of the sequence there. So we will place a new behavior card out, and we got 2 reds. I also have to put a damage out on the Dual Blade. Okay, so that is pretty much one full sequence, or that was one initial sequence of playing that card. So now I get to continue my turn, and I think we just got to keep going and dealing some damage here. Hope you guys enjoyed this little tidbit, right? I just gave you a nice little taste of this prologue scenario. Be on the lookout for our video next Friday. We're going to wrap up this prologue scenario. We're going to be introduced to some really cool things. We're going to be introduced to the Forge. We're going to be introduced to the Herbalist. All that stuff for you guys, and then we'll be able to make some decisions. If you guys enjoyed this content, smash that like button. If you guys did like this new camera view format, please drop it down in the comments below. Let me know. And as always, guys, if you are not subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe so we can keep bringing you more awesome content. All right, guys, have a great one. Bye.